Okay, I'm going to start with this question, and that is, this week, was there any part that you had, or whether you were the content creator or receiving the content creation, where it touched your heart in a meaningful way? Did you create any content that connected to someone's heart, or did you experience some content, like consume some content that was quite meaningful to you? I have a picture of on one of my devices of it's a really sad picture. It's a guy sitting there, and he's got his hands down like this, and on this side, it's just a ton of lemonade, right? Just lemonade like crazy. And on this side is like a shoot of lemons that just keep pounding into him. So the story is he's been working so hard to make lemonade, but there's just too many lemons and he can't handle it anymore. And I think if we're alone, that's exactly how it can feel. So for us to be able to jump on stream and to us be able to be there and for them to take the little bit of effort, you know what I mean? To log in, say hi, and to be able to be encouraged, what a gift that is to us to be able to use God use us in that way, but also at the same time to them that we can speak directly to them. I think that's one of the reasons I love streaming so much, because it's not just out there in the world me talking. It's I'm really talking to other people, and it's so uh, it's really legitimate relationships. It makes me so happy. I'm sure you guys understand. We're going to talk about discovering your audience today. What that means is that I believe that you have a group of people that you can talk to and relate to and help in a way that nobody else can. If God has called you into content creation and he said, "Okay, I have gifted you with the ability to do this and the desire to do this," I believe he's also given you the audience that you are supposed to or that you get to talk to. And so therefore the question is, who's my audience? How do I find them? And where are we going? Right? That's what we're going to be talking about today. And because there's so many creators out there that think way too big, right? They think, I want to reach the world. I want to reach the Twitch. I want to reach gamers. I want to reach all of everybody who plays this game. It's all too big. That's way too big of thinking. What we're going to try to do is really narrow it down to the people that you are passionate about and who will connect to your heart. How can we influence them? Right? So creativity is influence. This is a quote by J. Oswald Sanders. He's a Christian thinker and devotional writer and whatnot. He's a very smart cookie. He said this about leadership, and if you remember, this whole curriculum is based on leadership development, right? So that's kind of where the framework is, but we're adapting it. So I'm going to read the leadership part anyway. It says, "Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. It is about influencing others in a worthwhile cause. It is not dependent on titles or positions. It is dependent on someone catching a vision from God and mobilizing others to join them in its fulfillment. When this happens, leadership arises in its purest form. It happens to every organization at one point or another, especially when there's no system or plan. In those times, there is no expectation of progress. Today, many regions of the world are crying for godly, effective leaders. The leader must earn the right to lead, and others choose to follow." If we take the word leader and we substitute content creation, it works perfectly. So let me read it again using our perspective. Content creation is influence, nothing more, nothing less. It is about influencing others in a worthwhile cause. It is not dependent on titles or positions. It is dependent on someone catching a vision from God and mobilizing others to join them in its fulfillment. When this happens, Christian content creation arises in its purest form. It happens to every movement at one point or another, especially when there's no system or plan. In those times, there is no expectation of progress. Today, many regions of the online world are crying for godly, effective creators. The creator must earn the right to be heard, and others choose to follow. I think the most powerful part of that is it is not dependent on titles or positions, right? Anybody can do this. God calls, we used to call them lay people. God calls everybody into this sort of position from your home, wherever you are, from your walk of life, from whatever country of the world. You don't need to go to seminary, and you don't need to go to mission school, and you don't need to be, special or whatever in any kind of way. You personally can turn on your camera or start your recording or start drawing or whatever it is from your perspective, and you have the ability to influence people all around the world, right? It is a incredible thing that the gift of what we were just talking about, to be able to connect to people's hearts in a meaningful way, isn't just in the hands of pastors or in the hands of, professional counselors or psychiatrists or psychologists. Because really, and I've said this for my entire career, um, I as a pastor will equip you, but you're doing the ministry. You're the one that's going to go out there and meet people. You're the one that's going to be in their homes more. You're the one that's going to weep with them the most. You're the one that's going to be talking to your neighbor, right? Yeah, I have my own neighbors, but really the ministry is coming out from you guys. In the same way, that's exactly what it is with content creation. Just because you are a quote unquote normal person doesn't mean you are outside of the usefulness of God. In fact, it qualifies you. We have a problem right now in content creation, and that is we have this Christian content crisis. Like that, there's bad content out there. We know that people online, there's a bajillion. Everybody's online. Probably like most of the planet is online. Most Christians spend their time online, right? There's no different, right? Everybody looks at TikTok. Everybody's on YouTube. They're all playing games. Tons of Christians online. But when it comes to actual Christian creators, there aren't very many. There's some, but they're not very many. And when it comes to excellent, purposeful Christian content creation that is from trained people who are passionate, who understand their audience, who know what they're doing, who know where they're going, who have biblical knowledge, who can do a little bit of counseling, who actually have passion and knowledge and gifting, those are very few and far between, right? Very few and far between, which means right now we have this golden opportunity where we have this glut of people that are thirsting, that are longing for good content, even clean content or family friendly content or Christian content, not just Christians, but people everywhere in the world. And we have this opportunity to finally raise up a group of people who are excellent, purposeful, knowledgeable, understanding content creators who are also Christian. It doesn't mean they're out there evangelizing all the time. It doesn't mean that they're doing Bible studies all the time. What it means is that when they stream with a purpose, right? They're not just on there. They're not just a Christian who is doing content creation. They're using content creation for the sake of changing lives, right? That's what Taco's doing. That's what we're doing here. That's why I'm so passionate about it, because I believe so strongly in the power of content creation, that if you can utilize your gifts and talents, your whatever that is, we're going to talk about that a bit more later. Whatever it is, if you can bridge that to having meaningful conversations with people, there's something special that happens. Something godly, something spiritual that is happening between you and that person as a result of your willingness to make that content. And I just don't think there are enough people out there that are thinking that way. We know plenty. We all know them. Christian creators that call themselves Christian creators, but what they do is they just go on stream. Many of them don't know why they're there. Many of them don't have an audience in mind. Many of them just assume that they're supposed to be there, either doing Bible things or doing, Christian stuff, or that they would never do Christian stuff. They just are a Christian who's being salt and light and never talks about Jesus, right? It's just they're there. Maybe they're not consistent. They don't show up all the time. Their quality is low because they really haven't given it much thought. But they call themselves a missionary. They call themselves a Christian creator. That is not great Christian content, and it's not going to attract people. What we're trying to do is create content that is attractive and also meaningful. Would you agree with that? Before I go too far, would you agree with that? That this is a problem? We're going to talk a little bit about why it's so hard to be a Christian content creator these days. Why doesn't it come naturally to us? What's standing in the way? And really, we're going to use the illustration of the time of the judges. And you guys know, if you know the Bible, you know the time of the judges. It was the quote, "In those days there was no king in Israel, and everyone did what was right in their own eyes." Right? It was Moses led everybody. Joshua crossed the river. Joshua died. Everybody's like, "Who even is this God anyway? Let's go worship a rock. Let's go find a log that we can worship." And it didn't work out good. Continuously throughout Judges, you have them falling away, and then you have God raising up a leader for a specific purpose with specific gifts at a specific time to make a change in people, to rally them together, to help them. Often it's a military victory, but not always. He raises these people up, and these people make a meaningful change. Reconciliation happens between the people and God. They have, as long as the judge is alive, they have peace, and then they fall apart again, right? And then they fall apart again. It was really tough. Can you imagine how hard it would be to be a judge back then? I think there's parallels between content creation, Christian content creation, and the time of the judges. So why is it so hard? Number one, chaos reigned because there was no precedent for authority and accountability, right? It was a chaotic time. In fact, when everything fell apart, nobody remembered anything from the past. Nobody bothered to remember. Nobody told their kids. And then when they went looking for how we're supposed to do this, who's supposed to hold us together, who's going to make sure that we're staying by the rules, there wasn't anybody. There was no structure. There was no government. There was no police force. There was no nothing. Everybody was just doing whatever they wanted, which means that the chaos was, when the judge stepped into it, it was absolute anarchy. Online right now, it really is anarchy. Now, back in the day, the internet was even more Wild West. Like, corporations and governments have tried to get their hands on it or whatever to be able to calm it down a little bit, but it's still very, very crazy out there. People putting up stuff that is just wild. I'm not even going to get started about the dark web. Like, there's some crazy things going on out there. Chaos reigns online. Plus, chaos is reigning among content creators, content creation, and on the internet in general, because there is no authority and there is no accountability for most people who are doing content creation. We don't report to anybody. There's nobody looking over our shoulder. There's nobody that is saying, why didn't you show up on Tuesday for stream? Right? There's no consequences if we screw it up, or if we're heretical, or we blow up our lives. There's nobody that's coming to rescue us, right? The authority, the accountability just isn't there. There is for other ministries, like if you're going to be a missionary, if you're going to be an author, if you're going to be, if you're going to go into pastoral ministry, or you're going to teach in seminary or whatever, if you're going to go into many other Christian ministries, there are precedent. There's authority. You have to go get this degree, or you have to go get this paper, or you have to go through this system. You get to apply to this group. We're not just going to let any yahoo go out there and call himself a missionary and drop himself in the middle of whatever country. There is authority. There's accountability, but that does not exist for us, right? We could do whatever we want, and that makes it difficult on the individual. Second, aggressive enemies surrounded them. Speaking of the Wild West of the internet, people really don't like Christians online. I don't know if you've noticed, but if you are an obvious Christian, or you are someone who is trying to be obvious in their faith, whether through content creation or just through even, putting a note on Reddit or something, you're going to get absolutely flamed. People just really don't like Christians. We're surrounded by enemies online. The amount of people who, for that matter, the content that's already out there is really pulling people away, spiritually speaking. Like, the content that's out there on the internet is designed in such a way to make people dumber, to make them addicted, to make them foolish, to keep them infantile, right? That's really what it's about. And so for us, when we step out there and we're like, let's have meaningful content, let's talk about deep subjects, right? There are people who really actively will oppose that. Not to mention the algorithms, that they don't like Christian stuff. Not to mention the how hard it is to grow in this incredibly, full environment that is Twitch or content creation or YouTube or whatever. It is we're surrounded by problems, things that are getting in the way. And just like it was in Judges, they were surrounded by bad guys everywhere who kept conquering them all the time. And many of us, because there's no authority, no accountability, because there's chaos, we're individuals, we're fighting these enemies alone, right? Even more so for females. I would say that there is it's more difficult for a female content creator than it is a male content creator, because your enemies are more, you have more of them than I do. All the ones that hate Christians hate me, and all the ones that hate Christians hate you, but they also are going to come and slam you simply because you're female, right? It's difficult. So the authority, the accountability, the protection that you have, there's none in the church for you, and there's none in among organizations for you. You're just out there on your own, which makes it difficult. Number three, there's no government funds for defense and safety. Back then, they couldn't just call the army. They couldn't go to the king and say, could we have some money for defense? They couldn't, there was no pool of things to be able to buy weapons or whatever. It just wasn't there because everybody was doing whatever they want. There was no king, there was no government. It's like that for us. We don't have a overarching group of people that is gathering funds and teaching and helping and launching. We just don't have it, right? They're starting. There are a few kind of out there that are trying to start. I mean, this is what Taco's all about, is really about, trying to find that place where we can get that accountability, that safety, that authority level, the training, the gather some money and help people do it right. But right now, that's very rare. Even the secular groups are having a hard time. I was just reading the other day how they tried to start an Overwatch league, I think it was, and it didn't work. They poured a bunch of money into it and it didn't work out. And these actual secular teams that are esports teams, they're having a hard time finding people to support them and people to sponsor them and whatnot. How much more so for small time Christian creators? We have even less of that. Number four, other nations influenced Israel with their idols and superstition. That was a big one. Every time they turned around, they had someone tempting them in some direction away from God. Well, for us, Christian content creators, every piece of learning that we have out there, every time we Google how to be a good creator, how to be a good, better on Twitch, how to grow on Twitch, it's all secular. All the training is secular. All the content is secular. It's all about, here's how to get sponsorships, and here's how to grow, and here's how to catch trends, and here's how you can optimize, and here's how SEO works and all that stuff. But when it comes to how to be a Christian content creator on purpose, godly, understanding your gifts, understanding your audience, being able to connect that to your faith, to be able to do it in such a way that it reflects you and also God, and here's how to do it and be discipled in it. Where is that? That just simply doesn't exist. And therefore, because of that, the Christian content creators who are trying to do a good job, where do they turn to be able to find out how to do it? The only place they can go is secularists. The only place they can go are those who are trapped in idolatry and superstition. And those who are doing this for financial gain. Those who are doing this to get popularity. Those who are doing this because they want to, get big, quote unquote, get big online or blow up, right? And that is not a Christian priority. That's not what we're doing this for. So where's the training? It's just not there. Well, I mean, there's one place, and we're here now, but there aren't very many. You know what I mean? Number five, heroes like Moses and Joshua were dead. In every other ministry you can think of, whether it be worship leading or whether it be, soup kitchens or whatever, pick a ministry, there's a hero, right? You want to be a missionary, there's 5,000 biographies and there's a class to take. If you want to be a pastor, same thing. If you want to join a soup kitchen or serve the poor, we have heroes. Man, this will go be like, what happened in Calcutta with Mother Teresa? That's it. Inspirational. Good golly, let's go do that. You know what I mean? But who are the heroes for Christian content creation? Who are the people that we look at who've been going for 30, 40, 50 years, who have heroically moved forward, who've broken through the lines, who've been able to say, this is how we do it, and this is how it's successful, and we can model ourselves after? We're doing that now. That's us. We're currently trying to become the heroes. We don't have them, which makes it hard. So when you don't have that sort of that North Star person, you know what I mean? Like if I wanted to be a preacher, which I am and was, I would go look at preachers and I would say, that's who I want to sound like. So I'm going to listen to them and I'm going to figure out how they did what they do. And I'm going to read their books and whatnot. And then I'm going to be able to be more like them. Well, if you're a Christian content creator and you're like, I want to be a Christian content creator, there's no books. There's no biographies. There's no person that you can go and be like. You know what I mean? There are some Christian content creators out there they're doing well. There are a few out there. But very few and far between. And when it comes to actual quote unquote heroic levels of going, this person has great character. This person knows the Bible. This person has been used by God. This is someone I want to be like. I don't know any. I can't think of any. We're trying to do that now. That's what we're trying to be, which makes it really, really hard for us who are starting out because we don't have a model to follow. Number 6, momentum and morale were low, so growth was hard. Obviously, among Christian content creators, and really all content creators, and I would say everybody on Twitch, and really a lot of people online, we can expand it a long way. Mental health issues, depression, anxiety, PTSD, social anxiety, all that stuff is very normal. They start out with low morale. There's a reason that they're online. There's a reason that they're sitting in their own room. There's a reason that they're not somewhere else. And it's because there's something happening in them that's causing this to be somewhere that is safe for them and good for them and where they want to be and where they want to be useful. And there's a discomfort on the outside. I've talked to multiple people, introverts especially, who really have a hard time going to church because it's not designed for introverts. You show up, you get to the parking lot, and then someone's there to like shake your hand and say, how you doing? And what's going on this week? And then you get 3 steps in and someone's pushing paper on you, be like, fill this sucker out. And then you're going to join a group and we're all going to be your friends. And then you sit down and you're surrounded by people. Everybody shake each other's hand and pat each other on the back. Like, I don't want you to touch me. Leave me alone. I just, that's the group we're here. And so if you're an introvert, that's hard. I was talking to somebody who has an autistic kid. He's like, church is like really difficult on him because of all those reasons. But you know what? That's why I'm so glad Twitch exists, because he can come to Twitch and he can talk to the person. And because he struggles with language, he can formulate his sentences in text and make sure it seems right to him. He can turn down the volume if he wants to. He can turn you off if he wants to. He can engage as much as he wants. He can ask all questions. It's perfect for him. It's exactly the kind of environment he can be discipled in and find care in, right? But for us, if that's who we are and that's who we're trying to serve, and we're also those who suffer with that and have difficult time with that, it's really easy to get morale to be low. And you can see why. If there's no authority helping you out, there's no accountability keeping you going, you're surrounded by enemies, you have no money, the only training you have is from secular people, and you have no one to look up to, your morale is going to be low, right? And so when things go sideways and the stream doesn't go well and you start to get, second guess yourself or get that, that, what do they call that? The when you actually get some success and you feel like you don't deserve it. Whatever, I can't remember with that thing. Yeah. That. When you've got that, like who's going to come and argue with you? Who's going to be like, no, you belong here. You know what I mean? The momentum, there isn't any because we're starting the momentum now. And if your morale gets low, there's no one to pull you out of it. That's one of the reasons that Taco exists, is to try to unite and to hold accountable and to encourage content creators who need it. Because I am one of those. I get down. I get freaked out. Before every stream, I'm still a little stressed out, right? I still deal with social confusion and I really wish I could remember the name of that. Imposter syndrome. I still struggle with imposter. I still am there. I'm like that. So how much more for everybody else, right? And I'm 45 years old, and I have a family and people who love me and all that stuff, and I still struggle with this stuff as a content creator. And there are people out there doing this, and they don't even have anybody living with them. There's nobody around, right? That's got to be rough on them. So I'll pause and just ask the question. Your thoughts on this? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is something particularly touch you in this? Have you had an experience like this? What do you guys think? Let's keep going. We're going to talk about the basics of effective influence, how to find your audience. This is, I believe very strongly, and you're going to hear this a lot, in specificity. The more specific you can get, the more you can narrow it down, the more you can figure out your audience, your focus, your desire, as far as everything else. I just did a whole talk on this. If you're going to confess your sin and be accurate. If you're going to ask for help and be accurate. If you're going to tell somebody, give somebody a compliment, be specific about what the compliment is, right? It's not just you look nice today. It's that color looks nice on you. Well done. It really brings out your, that's what you want. You want to be specific. And so therefore there are a lot of Christian content creators out there that they got a good heart. They want to do it, but they've never really thought about this stuff. They just want to be out there and helping. I think if you're going to be effective, you need to go through this and understand how to find your audience. Who is the audience that God has prepared for you? So we're going to talk about the creators that God used most. Number one, they perceive a need. Now, creators don't need good looks or technology or talent. Their power comes from their passion to use their influence and creativity to solve a problem. The first place that your content comes from, the first place that you understand who your audience is, will come from your passion for some need that you see out there, right? It's the lonely people. It's the disenfranchised. It is those who are uneducated. It's those with mental health issues. It is, people who have divorce. It's people who are physically or mentally challenged, something like you got this group out there, this need, or someone who's poor, or someone who is a group of people who are suffering in some way, and you want to help them. You see a need, right? That's the first place. I see this need. That is where I want to go. That's who I want to talk to, and that's what I want to talk about, and that's who I want to help. That's the reason. That's the fundamental baseline of what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm playing a video game. Yeah, I'm being silly online. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, but all along the way, the reason for this stuff is because it points towards solving that need. Now, how do you find that need? Well, when your content creation is at its best, when it's really focused and you're making good content that's really changing lives, it starts with a need, right? As in the group that needs care representation, the message that needs sharing, the enemy that needs defeating. You have this need, you have a desire, you have an enemy to conquer, you have something that needs to be said. Starts there. And you want it to happen. You believe the world needs to hear this, or this problem needs to be changed. That sparks a passion in you. You see the need, it sparks that passion in you, and you are now motivated to do something about it. You act in response to the need, as in you decide this is how I'm gonna go change that situation, right? Go from bad to good. I'm gonna be part of that. And then others move to participate because of the action you take, right? So in content creation, you look through this and you're like, okay, so here's a need. Like for me, the universal sort of need that you kind of hear a lot of Christian content creators talk about is they want to reach people that are like them, right? People that have struggled with mental health, or are lonely, or or children of divorce, or whatever, and they see that, and that need inside of them, like, well, you know what? I know what that's like, and I know how lonely that is. And I know how isolating that is, and I know how fearful that made me. Therefore, I don't want that for them, right? I want them to know somebody loves them, that they can communicate, that they can open their heart to people, and that not everybody's a bad guy. I want to be the good guy for them. And so therefore, I'm going to create content. I'm going to organize my stuff so that when someone comes in, that's who I'm serving, right? So therefore, I'm not playing a game that is going to trigger their fight or flight response. I'm not talking about subjects that are going to freak them out. I'm not, I'm moderating my chat well so that everybody feels cared for and loved in a very specific way. Like, I'm not an apologetics. We're not going to sit there and argue about the Bible. These people, all they heard was argument from their parent. We're not doing that here, right? We're doing support, right? And then as you create that content, others start to understand what you're doing. Others see where you're going. And those who need you start to show up. And those who believe in what you're doing start to show up. That's where your audience comes from. It comes from that need. Have you, and this is where I'm going to ask the question, have you, when you think about your content, or when you just think about the world, whatever, is there something in the world that you have seen that has really gripped your heart, a need you've seen that has sparked a passion inside of you that has made you motivated to want to do something? If you're not there yet and you haven't really narrowed this down, like you can tell that I've narrowed this down. For me, it's like I'm Christian content creators. That's who I love. That's who I want to help. That's what the content's about. That's what the book's about. That's what my channel gathers people who love Christian content creators, Christian content creation, and the Christian content creators who want to be helped. That's who comes to the stream. And so therefore, that's who I've adjusted my stuff for. And that is perfectly fine if you haven't quite figured out who that is yet. That's why we're doing class. All right, we're going to keep going here. The creators that God uses most possess a gift, right? So they see this need, and they possess a gift. The most effective creators have some kind of ability that connects to an audience and fits their need perfectly. They can be spiritual, natural, or acquired. Now, spiritual, spiritual gift is in like encouragement or administration, or you're a good teacher. Natural, as in like you're really good at music, like you can sing super good, or you're naturally athletic. Or acquired, you worked super hard to become best at whatever, right? It doesn't matter. If you're going to be used by God in a very unique and special way and actually grow in your content creation, then you can't get away from the fact that you need to develop and I was going to say exploit. You can't exploit yourself, but you know what I mean? That use your gift. That's a key part of it. God has given everybody a gift. We believe that every Christian has a spiritual gift for sure, but I believe it goes beyond that. That you have a unique something that you can do that shows how special you are. Maybe you're not the best at it in the world, but you're good at it, right? So when content creation's at its best, a person finds a gift inside of them, right? They groom and develop that gift. They eventually match that gift with a place of service. The gift that they are using, and it provides a platform for their influence, and they eventually flourish because of that gift. Okay, so it's important to know your need, but it's also important to know how you're going to bring value to the people who are in your audience, right? And the value you're going to give them is a result of your gift. You find that gift, whatever it is. I'll use me for example, like teaching. I groom and develop that gift. I go to school and I practice and I whatever, and then I eventually match that gift with a place of service. It was the church, and now it's Twitch, and now it's doing this. That gift provides a platform, as in people keep coming and they want to hear me teach, and they like what I'm teaching, and therefore they tell other people about what I'm teaching, and therefore more people hear, and eventually, flourish, taco growth, my channel gets bigger. Same thing for you guys. You take that need and you say, okay, this is the people I love, lonely, lost, disenfranchised, whatever it is. I'm going to provide for them through my gift, music, entertainment, being funny, being exceptionally excellent at something, having a special knowledge, don't know, whatever yours is. And through when they experience that gift that I'm giving them, they will find value in it, which allows me to bridge the conversation over to be able to help meet their need, right? This is my audience, so therefore it will focus how I present my gift, right? I'm really funny, but my audience is struggling with, say, sexual addiction. Therefore, I am definitely not going to be doing sexy jokes, right? I'm going to keep away from that because your audience is going to govern how you present your gift. They're connected. But you can't get away from this. A lot of streamers online they're like, yeah, I'm just going to show up. I'm going to call myself Christian. I'm going to be friendly. And I'm going to start stream. And then God's going to bless because that's what I want. Well, the creators that God is going to use most are the ones who are developing their gift, who are pursuing excellence, who want to get better. For the first 16 months of my stream, when I started, I made a commitment that I would improve it in some way every single day. And I did for hundreds of days in a row because I wanted it. And it didn't have to be huge. It wasn't like I'm changing my channel. Sometimes it was just I updated my about because it had a spelling mistake or something. Or I went through and I figured out another thing that I can put on as a goofy little thing to do online. It was something. I tweeted out something that would advertise. There was something I would do to improve my stream because I believe that as I pursue excellence and as I develop this gift, as I literally nonstop ate, slept, and drank content creation for months and months and months. Every video, there was just a lot, just a lot because I wanted to be great at it. And I wanted to be someone who other people saw as great at it, saw that I was gifted at it, and wanted to come and see what I was doing, because this is true. You can't simply turn on the camera. You can't simply start drawing. You can't simply start singing. You have to connect it to something special within you. Really root out what that gift is. And it doesn't have to be super flashy. It's not like you have to be great at singing or super awesome at something. But you have something. You have something, whether it's spiritual, natural, or acquired. connect it to that gift, and then work on developing that gift. And the people that you want to serve are going to be attracted to it. Right? Does that make sense? I'm a big believer in excellence. I'm a big believer in excellence because I think it respects your audience and it encourages you. Right? And the benefit of this is that when you're creating in your area of gifting, you are most intuitive, satisfied, productive, natural, comfortable, and influential. What does that mean? It basically means that when you're doing the thing that you are good at and that you enjoy doing, it's going to be intuitive for you how to do it. For example, let's say that you are playing chess, right? And somebody's like, "Come play chess with me." And you're like, "Okay." But you don't play chess very often, but you kind of know the rules. Like everything in your being is going to be focused on that board. Nobody talk to me. We're not having a conversation. I'm playing chess. Leave me alone. I have to think. However, if you are good at chess and it comes naturally and you practice it and have a gift for chess, you can have conversations, you can be silly, you can do things. You're going to be able to make moves that just seem natural because you're in your gift area, you're more intuitive. Whereas if you're not, that chess is like, okay, what's the rule and how do I do this and what have I learned? It's going to be not intuitive. Same with content creation, right? You're working in your area of gifting. You're having conversations about the things that you care about your area with the people that you care about. You're going to be able, these conversations are going to be much easier. Whereas if you're talking to people who you don't necessarily care that much about things you don't care much about, those are going to be very difficult conversations. You're also going to be more satisfied, right? As in when you're done stream or you get off, you're like, man, yeah, I did something good today. That conversation really helped, or that what I did there, or the joke we had, or the community we built. Man, that was really a big deal. Whereas if you're working outside of that gifting and you're really trying to force it, and I think Christian creators do this all the time. They go and they play a game or they do a thing that they really don't like because they want to, be engaged in digital missions. So they'll go and they'll do something they really, really don't like. I know people, more than one, that I talked to them about content creation and streaming specifically, and they said, "Man, I hate streaming." I'm like, "But you stream all the time." "I know, but I don't like doing it. But God called me into content creation and our digital missions, and so I have to stream. That's just what I'm obeying God." And I was able to say to them, "Well, hold on. What if you're not supposed to be serving as a streamer? What if you're supposed to be serving with your gift and talent? What if you're supposed to be serving a streamer? You don't have to be on stream. What if you use what you want in the time you have and the talent you have and the things that get you excited to support a streamer, right? Because there's lots of them out there that need your help. So what if that's what you're going to scratch all the same itches and then you're going to be satisfied. You're going to, off stream, you're like, man, I suck at that and I don't like doing it. But this time I'm a graphic artist, or I program games, or I make, whatever. When I give that to them and I see them using it online and it improves their stream, I go, yes, God used me this week, right? You're satisfied in it because you're working within your gift. Productive, obviously it's easier, it's faster. You can do it quicker when you're gifted at it, and vice versa. If you're not, it takes you a much longer time and you make less. Natural, you are able to adapt during whatever it is, right? It's something that you don't have to work on. Yes, you develop your skill, but at the same time, it's something that it happens so fluidly that it seems like it's just part of you, right? Some people are like this with conversation. Some people are like this with gaming. Some people are like this with music, right? I've played with people that no matter how much I screw up, they're still with me, man. they're like, yeah, it's okay. I know you're in the wrong key, and yeah, I know we're doing this in the wrong tempo, and you skipped that whole verse, but I'm still with you because they know what they're doing, and it just comes naturally, and it's easy for them. Same with comfortable, right? If you're sitting on stream or doing your content or drawing something, whatever it is, singing stuff you don't like, you're going to be uncomfortable, right? Having conversations you don't want, vice versa. But if you are in your wheelhouse, you're going to be more comfortable and influential because it's natural, because it's intuitive, because you enjoy doing it, because you can smile while doing it. Other people are going to be influenced, right? Alternatively, if it's, man, I don't want to be here, and man, I don't like what I'm doing, and man, I look miserable while doing it, and man, this is super hard. other people are going to catch that vibe and not want to hang out with you, right? You're going to get some supporters that are like, yeah, they're trying really hard, so let's stick with them. But you're going to be second monitor on mute, right? You need to be someone who finds that gift and works within it. I do want to add. Okay, let's try this. Normally, this is a little bit too personal, but I'm going to try. Do you know? And it's okay if you don't. But do you know what your primary gift is? The thing that God put you on planet Earth that you can do intuitively, productively, naturally, comfortably. All right, let's keep going. The Creator Guard uses most parades of passion. Okay, you found your need, you figured out your gift, and the thing you're offering, the value you're offering. You parade of passion. If you're going to change the world, you're going to parade of passion. Passion is much more powerful than charisma. You don't need to be good looking. You don't need to be, really incredible at speaking. You don't need to be, have the great vocabularistics and all that stuff. Your passion for the audience and for the need and for changing the world and about the content you're creating, the gift you're in, is going to carry it. Okay. You got the passion makes up for a lack of resources. You can have the lamest stream ever, but if you're passionate and people catch that passion, they will continue to show up. Assuming your audio is correct. Make sure you get your audio correct. Don't even bother streaming if you don't get your audio correct. I'm a big believer in audio. When the outward need and the inward gift match, the influencer often becomes passionate. They share their passion through their content creation, and it compels their audience to want more and get involved. This is where you blow up. This is where you grow. This is where lives are changed, because you figured out the need, and man, I want to help these people, or man, I want to help that group, or man, I want to say that thing. And then you're like, I have this gift, and I'm going to utilize this gift. I'm going to develop this gift, and I'm going to be great at this gift, and I'm going to be excellent at it, the best I possibly can. And when those two things connect, I'm utilizing my gift to be able to serve and love and help and communicate to these people what I want and believe that I'm trying to change their world. You get passionate, you get excited. You want to go on stream. You want to talk to these people. You want to draw the picture. You want to make the poem. This is driving you to get it done. And as you're doing it, people can sense that excitement. They can sense that passion. They're like, man, this person really wants to be here, which is making me really want to be here. And they really, really do care about those people. And they really, really do care about me. And therefore, because I know that, I'm compelled to want to be with them. I want to be next to whatever they're doing and see where they're going. That's exciting to me. The opposite is true as well. If you don't care about the need, right? You don't have a need. You haven't thought through a need. You really don't know who you're talking to. Or the people that you don't like, you despise, or the people that you're trying to reach, you despise. And there are Christian content creators that they're trying to reach people they hate, right? I'm on Twitch because the place is gross and crappy and horrible, and I'm trying to save people from how miserable it is. And I hate the online environment, and Twitter sucks, and everything sucks. But I'm here anyway because, whatever. You dislike these people, the passion that you are showing is not going to be attractive. Right? It's not going to be attractive. But if you get through that, because it's the opposite is true, is that if you don't care, and if you aren't passionate about it, and if you're just kind of mailing it in and you just show up, people are going to be dropping off. You're not going to get the audience. This is the people that show up and their OBS is broke. They start every stream with, "Hey, I'm really tired. I don't even know why. I wasn't going to even stream tonight. Actually, it was really tough today. Had a rough day today, and I don't know. We might play a game. I think I maybe turn on something, but yeah. Okay, why don't we, what, who's going to sit there and watch that? Nobody, right? Nobody wants that. What they want is to see someone, to join somebody who's parading that passion, who wants to be there, who's excited for the group. The audience will get excited and involved when the creator shares their. It's not, and notice how being good at the game is not on this list, right? Being really, having great whatever makeup or lighting or whatever. It's not on here. If you want to get your audience excited, you want them to be involved, share your burdens, as in the things that are interesting you and concerning you. Share the need. Share the thing that you really care about, right? Man, it hurts my heart that these people are out there being hurt or that something is happening to them. And I want to change. I want to be with them. It makes me so frustrated that I really want to help them. We should help them, right? Share your burdens. Share your convictions, your values, principles, and beliefs. This is a thing you think need to happen. Share your, this is legitimately, I feel as though this needs to happen. This needs to change. That is wrong. This is right. It is moral that we do that, whatever it is. You share your convictions with them. You share your gifts with them, obviously, the ability that you have, and as you share it with them, the people who actually share your gift are going to be excited, and the people who want to see your gift are going to be excited, right? Share your needs. And this isn't just share the need, share your needs, right? This is one actually a lot of Christians have a hard time with because they really, really, really like helping, but they really, really, really don't like being helped. They feel like it's wrong to ask for stuff. But the truth is that we can't obey like a lot of the New Testament if one side isn't sharing their burdens, right? How are we supposed to confess our sins to one another if like nobody wants to confess their sins? How are we supposed to bear each other's burdens if nobody's willing to share their burdens, right? How are we supposed to encourage one another? We have no idea if you're discouraged. We have to share our needs. Same thing with, whether it be financial needs. Man, my camera sucks and it's broken. And every time I have it on for 10 hours, it tends to melt. And I'm not a happy camper when it melts. Could you guys help me out with a new camera, right? Share your needs, share your desperate. So that way, the people who are out there that also have that need or care about that need, right? Man, yeah, for sure. I was there too. Let me help you. Or I'm also upset with that situation. Let's work together, right? And also share your opportunities. Like say you're offline or say whatever, say you're at church, say you're somewhere, and something along the lines that your audience really kind of vibes with, it's you and you have an opportunity, crack it open, share it, right? Guys, I just found out this class and it's good. I want to learn this thing. Let's all take it together. Come on, let's all take it together. Or I just joined this Discord, or I just found this streamer and they're just changing my heart right now. I just found this book. It's really doing something. Actually, there's this person out there that really needs our help. Why don't we raise some money for them? Like, share the opportunities that you see with the group. You might be thinking, well, I don't want to like pull a bunch of money and stuff out of them. That's not what I'm here for. You're not. You're giving them an opportunity to serve others. You're giving them an opportunity to fulfill a need. Now, remember these people. They're sitting at home, and they are often they're lonely, and they don't go out, and they have lots of money because they work, or they are impoverished and they're sad and whatever like that, and they really do need things to do. Right? That's we're trying to serve. And therefore, if you say, why don't we share a burden together? This is something that must be done. Here's a gift that you have that I also have. There's a need out there that we can solve. We have the opportunity to do it. Let's do this together. People are going to get excited. Your audience will grow and they're going to participate. The opposite is true. If you hold back your personality, you never talk about what you care about. You're just there to be there. You are wishy-washy in your values and principles. You never land anywhere, firmly planted 2 feet in the air. You are avoiding using your gifts because you don't think they're valuable online. You never share that you're needy. You always want to look strong. You always want to look put together. You never want anybody to know you're weak. And you keep all the opportunities to yourself. You're going to have you're not going to have an audience. They're not going to stick around. Also, anybody you have there is going to be an absolute consumer because that's what you've created. A big old hypocritical, pharisaical group of people who aren't being honest with themselves or anyone else. That's not what we want to build, right? Anybody have any comments on that they want to share? Maybe, or actually, here's another good question, and that is, do you know anybody like this that you resonate with? You meant this is a person I follow, or that I joined, or that I listen to their podcast or their content because I share their burdens. I know their needs. They give me opportunity or whatever. Is there someone like that? Okay, persuaded people. The creators God uses most persuaded people. Genuinely great creators attract others who share their passion by connecting with them in a special way. This is what separates hobbyist creators and purposeful Christian creators. They have followers because they are the cause they are passionate about is bigger than they are. I know plenty of people that struggle with wanting to grow. They're literally like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to grow. I'm fine if it's only like 3 people there, and that's me forever, and it's fine. That sort of false humility that they feel like they're supposed to spread out, right? And maybe they're honest, but the truth is, if you're going to be used by God in a meaningful way, you're going to persuade people and you're going to grow, and that is perfectly fine to want that, to want to expand your field, to want to be able to reach more people, to want to be able to, gather more resources to help more folks, to be able to create bigger, better, more excellent stuff for the sake of helping more people. That is perfectly valid. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're doing your job and if God is blessing you, you're going to be persuading people and growth is going to happen. Be okay with that. Right? Yeah, we're going to talk about later how to work through that growth and how to figure out how to, kind of manage that channel growth. But at the same time, you want to get things done. If you're a content creator God uses, you want to hit goals and you want to reach follower, goals. You want to be able to expand. That's what it's okay. You will persuade people. Be okay with that. So many people aren't. There's a lot of people who are not okay with growth. Be okay with it. I have a video. I'm gonna skip this part because I can talk about it for 45 straight minutes. Because I love this section right here so much. But I actually made a video a while back called Proven Practices for Getting Things Done that talks about how to get things done on your channel, right? How to move from, hey, I'm just streaming to actually being able to change the world through what you're doing. How do you get things done practically? So what gets talked about gets done, what gets trained for gets done, what gets measured gets done, budgeted, confronted, rewarded. If you're curious, and I encourage it, go watch that video. And it'll help you to understand a little bit better what I mean when it comes to connecting to your audience and actually being able to move things forward in a practical way. Okay. Last thing, they pursue a purpose. A great creator never sticks to the status quo. They feel they have a divine assignment, a life purpose that has become a consuming accountability partner. You cannot separate meaningful, influential content creation from purpose. Those who aim at nothing will hit it every time. Hopefully this summarizes everything we've been talking about. You stream, you create, you sing, you lead, you write, you whatever, on purpose. Nothing's by accident. You believe that God put you on earth for that. If he gave you this care for those people, and he gave you the gift to be able to attract those people, and he gave you the channel, or he gave you the system by which you can connect to those people, and you really want to change lives, then you can be excited about that. That could be why God put you on earth. And that's a good thing. Knowing what your purpose is in this world will help motivate you towards getting it done. Now, what does a life's purpose even look like? There's a lot of people like, I don't know what my life's purpose is. What does it look like? Okay. Your life's purpose will be personal, as in it'll fit your gifts and passions. It's not someone else's. It's not something you've adopted because that's what Spurgeon did, or, Hudson Taylor, or your favorite whoever did, or your mom, your mentor. It's you. It's personal. You're like, I care about this. This is mine. It's measurable. It involves activity that can be evaluated for effectiveness. So I want to change the world is not good enough. I want to help people is not good enough. I'm here to spread God's love. That's not a life's purpose. Everybody's supposed to do that. The question is, to who and when, and how will you know you're doing it, right? For us, it's easy. We have metrics. Literally, how many people showed up and how many people watched and how many people clicked and how many people whatever. We can go. If I'm here to help people and serve people and love people and make their life better, how many people's lives have I made better this week, right? How many people have I connected to this week? How many people have joined the Discord? I can know how many people have gone past the stream because I look at the Discord. For me, my number one win, and we'll talk about this later too, is when someone comes onto the Discord and says, This place is different. I feel cared for. This Discord means something to me. Then I go, check. I got a goal. You know, if I can move people from listening to me to being part of the community and active on Discord in a meaningful way, that's my win. I can measure that. Number 3, it's memorable. It is specific enough to be remembered, communicated, and embraced. If someone says, "What's your life's purpose?" and you're just like, "Well, I don't," you know, and you have no idea how to communicate it, there's a good chance that that's not it, right? So to be able to sit down and go, "I am here, put on earth, to teach, lead, organize, and network Christian content creators in a meaningful way to help them maximize their potential and understand who they are in God." That's what I'm here for. Okay? At least at this moment, right? Bigger, I'm here to teach and to disciple people. But for you, it's going to be memorable, specific. You can communicate it in a meaningful way. It's meaningful. It deals with issues that make a real difference in people's lives. Your life's purpose isn't going to be pie in the sky by and by, or just something in the future, or just, something that will never happen. It's going to be God's going to use you in a real way that will change the world now, right? You're going to feed people, or you're going to help people, or you're going to encourage people, or you're going to love them, or you're going to go to them, or you're going to build a house for them, you're going to draw things for them. Whatever it is, it's going to be something meaningful that actually changes some lives. Number 5, it's mobile. It'll travel with you wherever you're doing it and wherever you find yourself. So your mission isn't to stream on Twitch, because when Twitch shuts down, does your life's purpose disappear? No. But if your life's purpose is to encourage people and make their life better, if your life's purpose is to connect to the lost and lonely, right? If it's your life's purpose to help people who are children of divorce to be able to feel secure, you can do that everywhere. You can do that at the playground. You can do that at church. You can do that at a community center. You can do that in your apartment building. You can do that anywhere. That's a life's purpose. It's bigger than just the medium in which you work. And it's moral. You don't just feel like it could be done. You feel like whatever it is should be done. It is a moral imperative for you. I'm going to give you a chance to talk through. You can do this at home on your own time. We're running a little late because we covered a lot today. But take a minute to think through these questions, scale 1 to 10. Do you know if you see a need that you actually want to help with? Scale of 1 to 10, yeah, I can kind of see, or no, I don't understand, or I don't really see one. And do you know your gift, your special talent? Are you passionate about something? Scale 1 to 10. What level of passion would you say you have for whatever that need is, or whatever? Is anyone following you? Have you persuaded anyone? Right? And are you pursuing a purpose? Do you know your life's purpose? On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your life's purpose? I know what I'm here for versus I don't know why I'm put on earth, right? Think through this stuff, because as you can answer these things, it's going to focus your content creation so that you can really change lives. No, this is definitely me. This is the journey I had too. Now, the content that I'm developing, or that I'm not developing, whatever, the content that I'm presenting is based on leadership development content, and I've taught that class, a bunch of times in my life in leadership development. Actually using the content they gave, and then when I was like, how can I help these people that are out there doing content creation and haven't been discipled, have been abandoned by their pastor, who don't have a church? Well, the most effective course that I've ever taught is Equip. And so therefore, what if I take them through Equip? And as I was going through Equip, I'm like, every time I see the word leadership and I change it to influencer, it works perfectly, right? And because we've been streaming for a year, I had gone from, when I started, I was just like everybody else. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I just know I want to be a friendly face, and I want to be someone who is online playing games so that other people can have clean content. That's where I was too. And it was about, maybe 6 months in, where God goes, Al, I want you to do what you've been doing for the last 2 decades. Like, I don't know why you'd go think that you're going to be doing something different in this new environment. Go do what I built you to do. Right. And so as I started to process what that meant, how do I be a pastor? How do I be a leadership developer? How do I be a teacher? How do I be someone who develops people and disciples them online here? What does that mean? That's where God started putting content creators into my stream. And they started saying things like,
Yeah.
yeah, I told my pastor and he told me to stop. Or I told my mom and dad that this is what I wanted to do, and they told me it was a giant waste of time. Or I've been doing this for a while. I'm so small and I don't know what to do. I'm so discouraged and I don't know how to do this. Well, I'm like, all right, these people need discipleship and they need help. So therefore, I'm going to focus my content, which was actually really hard for me because I was scared. I'm like, okay, if I do this and if I alter my content to be focused on Christian content creators and helping to develop them, I have now limited my audience to a very, very, very few amount of people because that's not very many. And also, I'm not known. Nobody knows who I am. Therefore, there's like 8 people out there that I can. That's my audience, like 8 people. And so I'm like, this is freaking me out. So I did it anyway. And I adjusted, I trimmed off, I changed my stream, I altered the way I was having my streams work, and then that's where God went, yep, this is how it works.
Yeah.
So I found
Yeah.
my
Because,
need, I used my gift, and God used it to influence people. It's me. This is
right.
exactly what happened to me. The struggle is, am I being a hypocrite? Am I using, emotional manipulation to be able to get things out of these people? And really only you know that. Like, if it's you're sharing a legitimate concern, a legitimate need, or if you're like, man, every time I say this, they shoot me, like a 10 subs or whatever. You know that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let's turn that on its head. Okay? This is where
Hmm.
we do it. We put the shoe on the other foot. Go sit in your audience. Okay? Go sit in your audience. There's someone out there that you care about. You spend a bunch of time in their stream. You have walked with them for quite a long time. They have served you in various ways and improved your life because of their attitude and because of the work that they do on stream. They just had the worst week of their life. Do you want to know? List the ways that you on the other side of Twitch as an audience member can help. There's like 4, right? Say
Hmm.
something nice, see and sub bits, like there's very little
Hmm.
we can do when it comes to
Hmm.
specific practical encouragement for the streamers that we care about because we've only got like a few things we can do. Maybe we can help their coffee, we can share their channel, whatever. And so therefore, within the realm of the what I have access to, this is what I can do. This is how I can help. This is how I can show encouragement, right? The guilt and shame or the whatever that happens as a result of someone giving to you, you really have to choose to get over that, to be thankful, right? To simply go, they saw something, they care, they're legitimate. I'm not going to disregard their gift. In fact, if God has been pressing into them to be more generous, God has been pressing into them to show more care for people. God has said, you need to find a way to be thankful to the people that have been really influential in your life. If that's what God's been convicting them, and all of a sudden you show up and you're like, hey, I have an issue, they're excited. God's been working in my heart in this, and I'm so excited. I got a whole thing ready for you. Here, you have that because I've been waiting for somebody to say that they need something because I've been trying to be generous and God told me to be generous, but nobody seems to want anything. So here, I'm going to be generous, right? If we choose not to say or we disregard their generosity, as in we're like, you don't have to do that. You shouldn't do that. Don't do that. Right? I've seen too many streamers who respond to subs and gifts and bits with, don't do that. You don't have to do that. That's not what we're doing here. Don't do that. It just craps all over their generosity. Be
Yeah.
thankful. Be available. Be just simply go, that is super awesome of you. Thank you. You really improved my day. That really was encouraging to me. I'm going to have a better day because of you. Right? Boom. Be thankful. Right? We need to share with each other. That's something the Christian church needs to do more and more and more. And that includes us setting the example. Right?
Hmm.
Now, you're absolutely right that we can be tempted to slide into the negative zone where we because it gets us attention, and because we have people that are compassionate, and because whatever, we kind of want to live there. You know, when I'm miserable, they're miserable, and misery loves company, right? Kind of thing. So we do have to be careful with that. Obviously, right? We are still there. Like your job, for example, Ibby, you're like, man, I'm here to be positive. I'm here to create a positive environment. A positive environment in a Christian sense is also an honest environment. It's not just, hey, let's all come in here and have fun and live in denial. Woohoo, denial. It's,
Mhm.
hey, you know what? I'm going through this really tough time and this has been a rough week. Let me share about it. But you know what? God is good. God is still with us. I love you guys. I'm glad you're here. Let's have fun anyway, because I know the funk is going to move and I know that things are going to be better later. And you guys just being here is making it better. Thank you. Let's keep moving. I'm honest, but I'm not manipulating and I'm not living in the funk, right?
Mhm.
In fact, I think you could do this and literally do an entire day of funk if you wanted to, because it's so different from everything else. If you were like on there for an hour being like, I just need to share my burdens with you guys and share my heart with you guys and do it honestly and legitimately and whatnot. Be like, you know what? And I'll be back tomorrow. But today I just needed to share with you guys what was going on. You come back tomorrow and you keep doing your usual stream stuff. I think
Mhm.
that's still legitimate. You're not living in it, but you're being honest,
Mhm.
right? And that's the passion. If I would say this, if your passion is to help people that are in a rough situation who feel joyless lives to feel joy, then that is directly connected to you, right? How are you able to demonstrate the movement from a difficult week, a difficult life, I don't feel joy right now, to joy? How can you demonstrate that if nobody ever sees the other side of of your life?